Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Kimberly Johnson, affectionately known as Dr. Kim. I'm a practicing medical doctor and a skincare enthusiast. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to layer your skincare products so that you can get the best result. So get your pen and paper and let's get straight into it. One of the challenges that we may face with our skincare routines is deciding in what order should the products be applied. Applying the products in the right order allows our skin to receive the full benefit of each product. If not applied in the right order, despite how well formulated the products are, you may not see maximum benefit. There are so many rules and guidelines that govern how we should apply skincare products, but there are some basic rules that will not change, and we're going to discuss some of those, even though there are exceptions. It does get a bit overwhelming, I must say, and it varies with your skin type and what you're trying to achieve with the products. One must also take into account the time it takes for our skin to absorb the product. Allowing products to dry in between applications. So you have multiple products to apply. If you allow a time in between for drying of the products, you will prevent pilling, and that is when you have almost like you see little balls forming when you apply one product on top of the other. And it will also prevent dilution of important ingredients in your products. You also want to bear in mind that products will absorb faster in the skin if the skin is damp. So most times you'll hear persons say apply it to damp skin. Yes, having a little water on the skin allows it to absorb faster, which is significant in if you are using a product that is irritating, you need to bear that in mind. You should also bear that in mind if you want you want maximum benefit of a product, then you want to apply that product on damp skin so it will absorb faster. A rule of thumb when layering your skincare products is to keep your products at a minimum. Now, if you have 7 different products to apply in your skincare routine, that might be overwhelming and you might end up rushing the process, and that can decrease compliance with your routine. It is said that after the third layer, the absorption of ingredients into the skin is a lot more difficult. So it's better if you use combination products, so products that have multiple ingredients, so you don't need so many steps in your skincare routine. I usually recommend a minimum of 1 minute or 60 seconds in between each layer, and this will help the product to absorb before you apply another and let it not be so sticky when you're applying a next layer. In the mornings, I allot time so that I can do my skincare routine adequately. So, guys, it may pay to wake up, probably 10 minutes early so that you can do your skincare. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you want results, you have to put some effort in. For me, I also wait at least 5 minutes in between moisturizer and sunscreen, because what I found, especially with some mineral sunscreens, that if you apply the sunscreen too close to when you apply the moisturizer, then you end up with more of a white cast than when you allow the moisturizer to dry properly and then apply the sunscreen. And something that I see a lot of persons do, especially when they have a mineral sunscreen with a white cast, is that they will mix their moisturizer in the sunscreen and apply that to the skin. No, you do not want to do that, because what you're doing is you might be diluting the ingredients in the sunscreen. Then you won't know if you're getting the maximum effect or protection from the sunscreen. In the evenings or in the night when I'm doing my routine, I'll wait 15 minutes after I've applied my actives to apply my moisturizer. And this will allow again for maximum absorption of the actives before you add the moisturizer to lock them in. It's also recommended that you use a moisturizer with less actives in it when you're in your nighttime routine. So, for example, the CeraVe moisturizing cream, which doesn't have many actives and it is thick and will lock in the moisture and your actives. That's a good one. And also Cetraban. Cetraban is also very thick and fatty, but it doesn't have many actives. So those are two good moisturizers to use in your nighttime routine to lock in your actives. Generally, there are 5 bases for skincare products: water-based, anhydrous, oil-based, suspensions, and creams. I'll give an example of what each type entails. So for water-based, example is alpha arbutin from The Ordinary. The Ordinary's buffet peptides are water-based. So Paula's Choice Peptide Booster. The Ordinary's hyaluronic acid, their lactic acid, mandelic acid, their glycolic acid, and niacinamide are water-based. Examples of anhydrous would be products that do not have water as a part of the formulation. So example would be The Ordinary's ferulic acid and resveratrol serum, and that's an antioxidant serum. The Ordinary's ascorbic acid and alpha arbutin, so that again is anhydrous. The Ordinary's retinol 0.5% in squalane and their salicylic acid anhydrous solution. Now, suspensions are a heterogeneous mixture of finely distributed solids in a liquid. So examples of these would be The Ordinary's azelaic acid suspension. An example of an oil-based product would be The Ordinary's ascorbyl tetraisopalmitate solution, 20% in vitamin F. Now, emulsions are a step between a serum and a moisturizer. So they are water-based with a creamy and liquid texture, and they're very lightweight. Examples would be the CeraVe hyaluronic acid serum and The Ordinary's magnesium ascorbyl phosphate. And then lastly, there are creams, and these are more of a thicker consistency. They would keep the skin moisturized, they improve the skin barrier, they would lock in whatever products you apply before, and they help to balance oil production. An easy way to look at layering is to start by applying the thinnest product first and moving upwards to the thickest product. So when you're doing your skincare routine, we know the first step is cleansers. So you cleanse the skin. And as stated before, you might want to leave the skin a little damp depending on the product that you're using or how much absorption you want out of that product. The next thing you would apply after cleansers would be your toners or essence, because those are very, very thin and you want those absorbed fastest. So you'd apply those directly after cleansing. Even though I stated that you want to apply the thinnest product first and the thickest product last, there are some products that you want more out of. So you want the benefit of the actives in that more than others. So you may apply those immediately after the toner/essence, or if you don't use those, you may apply it right after your cleanser. You finish with the product that you want to just lock in all your actives. And that last product is supposed to be sitting on top of the skin. So for instance, a moisturizer, which is why it's okay to use a moisturizer with little to no actives, because what you're doing is just allowing it to sit on top of the skin to lock in your moisture and all your actives. Or in the daytime, that would be your sunscreen. So your sunscreen, if you're not wearing makeup, would be the last step in your skincare routine in the mornings. So The Ordinary, on their website, they give an outline as to how you should apply each type of product, because they started the whole trend of having basic actives and building your routine. So people might get overwhelmed as to what to put first, second, third, fourth, and so on. So if you look at their website, they go through how you should do so. And they also tell you what products not to use together. Now, what they outline is, 1, you start with your water-based products. Then you move to the anhydrous products, then the oil-based product. Then you move to emulsions, then suspensions, and then your cream. However, as stated before, if you want maximum benefit of a particular active, you may use that before, given that it won't occlude the absorption of other products. For example, in your anti-aging routine, if you were to follow that order, you would cleanse, then use your toner if you have a toner, then you'd follow up with your water-based product, which is your peptide. Then you would use your ferulic acid and resveratrol serum, which is anhydrous. Then you may move on to your retinoid, which some lines have it as anhydrous. However, some have it as a thin emulsion. But if you wanted more of the activity of the retinoid, you may apply the retinoid directly after cleansing or directly after your toner, and then move on to add your peptide and then your antioxidant serum. And then you finish off with your moisturizer. So that's an example of how you can switch up the usual order just to get more out of a particular product or active. An example of how I would layer for hyperpigmentation is this. I cleanse, then I'll go ahead and add the Ordinary's alpha arbutin, then I'll add the Ordinary's ascorbyl tetraisopalmitate solution in vitamin F. Then I'll go ahead and add Touch Bright and Clear Cream, then moisturizer. Now, if I'm not using that routine, then I'd cleanse, then apply my Faded by Topicals, then apply my ascorbyl tetraisopalmitate solution in vitamin F, and then I'd put on moisturizer on top. However, if it is that I'm doing a hyperpigmentation routine, but I want the effect of the ascorbyl tetraisopalmitate in vitamin F more because it can stimulate collagen production, then I'd cleanse, then apply that first, then apply the topicals Faded. And this is because even though the tetraisopalmitate in vitamin F is oil-based, I wanted more of the effect of those actives than the Faded by topicals. And even though it is oil-based, it is a very thin oil, so it won't occlude or prevent absorption of the products that follow. Then for those with dry skin, you may think about applying a very thick oil on top of your moisturizer, and that is to help you to lock in even more moisture. So in this case, your oil would be a thicker carrier oil, like an avocado oil or a sweet almond oil. So those are fattier oils that are thicker, and you would apply them after your moisturizer to lock in even more or make your routine even more occlusive. So an oil like an avocado oil, you wouldn't put before your moisturizer or put early in your skincare routine. So if you're applying an oil first before your moisturizer, you prefer to use an oil serum or a very thin oil like a very thin argan oil or grapeseed oil that's also very thin. On exfoliation nights, I just cleanse, apply my chemical exfoliant, and apply my very thick moisturizer. However, for some persons, they may switch up the rules a bit when it comes to applying certain chemical exfoliants because they may tend to be irritating, or the skin is super sensitive but you still want to get your exfoliation in. So what you would do in that case is cleanse, then apply a very thin moisturizer, then your chemical exfoliant, and then moisturizer to lock in all of that. And that's called the sandwich method. So applying that very thin moisturizer to begin with will kind of buffer the irritation from the chemical exfoliant. So for me, I use less irritating chemical exfoliants like mandelic acid or lactic acid. So those won't cause much irritation to my skin. So I can just go ahead and cleanse, then apply the chemical exfoliant, and then apply my thick moisturizer. In the mornings, how I layer is this. After cleansing, I'll go ahead and add my antioxidant serum. Or if I'm not wearing an antioxidant serum, then I'll apply my tyrosinase inhibitor serum or brightening serum. And I'll put examples. And then I'll go ahead and apply my moisturizer, allow that to dry for about 5 minutes, and then apply sunscreen. If I'm wearing makeup, which is not common at all, then I'll go ahead and apply makeup. So I know that's a lot to swallow. It may be overwhelming, but just follow the general rules. Start from the thinnest to the thickest. You want to start by applying your products on damp skin if you want maximum absorption. If the product is irritating, you do not want to apply it on damp skin. When I do the specific routines, it will become easier, and as we go through it even more, it will become natural to apply and layer your skincare products. So those specific routines will give you the exact order in which to apply various products in various routines. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and it's my pleasure to share information. Remember to follow on all the socials, and I'll be back for product reviews next.